In the bite size today, I've chosen to talk to you about the complex subject of free will. But just wait a minute. Did I actually make this choice, or are there forces beyond my control that has compelled me to choose this subject? The standard model of elementary particles dictate that the universe and I are composed of electrons and quarks. These particles are governed by the laws of physics. If that is the case, where is the free will coming from? As Robert Sapolsky puts it, am I the captain of my own ship? Do I have a consciousness, spirit, or soul? We'll be delving into these complicated topics in today's bite size. Watch the video till the end.
If you are seeking clarity in the core concepts, fundamental principles, and basic beliefs of all religions, history, and philosophy, you have come to the right place. Welcome to my channel, History, Religion, and Philosophy Bite Size. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Let's start with a few examples. I've quoted several papers here which demonstrate that a happy and stress-free pregnancy improves neurofetal development, leading to better cognitive and emotional outcomes in the children. This contributes to improve educational and occupational achievements. So next time when you attribute your financial, educational, economic, and social successes to the free choices you made to work hard and study hard, think again. You might have made different choices if your mother was stressed out and had an unhappy pregnancy. A fantastic paper by Caspi et al. Showed that males with a specific variant of the MAOA gene were more likely to exhibit aggressive and antisocial behavior if they were abused as a child. This is a great example of a gene-environment interaction. So if a person is being angry or aggressive, are they doing it out of free will, or is it determined by their genetics and environment? Hungary judge study looked at 8 Israeli judges over 1,000 parole decisions. The study showed that more paroles with favorable decisions were granted immediately after breakfast or after the lunch break. The study demonstrated that hunger and mental fatigue clearly overrode the judge's free will to grant parole. Here I have cited 2 papers highlighting the difference between parenting styles of mothers from individual and collective culture. As compared to individualistic cultures, mothers from collective cultures are far quicker to pick up their babies when the baby is crying. Seemingly done out of free will, it shows the immense influence of cultures on parenting style. Individualistic cultures are common in the Western countries, while collective cultures are more common in Asian and African countries. As a final example, let's look at the ACE score, the Adverse Childhood Experience Score. This is a tool to measure level of stress and trauma experienced by the child. It measures things such as abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction. This is measured from 0 to 10. The higher the ACE score, the more problems the individual will face, such as physical, mental, and behavioral disorders. So next time when you see a pregnant teenager or an adult alcoholic, ask yourself, are they doing it out of their free will, or is it a high ACE score?
The purpose of the bite-sized videos is to break down complex concepts into simple and easy to understand narrations. It requires a lot of effort and research. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share so we can spread the message as much as possible.
Now let's get some definitions out of the way. There's a whole taxonomy of free will and deterministic positions. But remember, this is a bite-sized video. Free will is the ability of individuals to make choices out of their own intentions and desires. Determinism, on the other hand, is a proposition that every event is causally linked to prior occurrences. Fatalism can sometimes be confused with determinism, but while determinism suggests that events follow from causal laws, fatalism implies a more passive acceptance that the future is fixed. Similarly, libertarianism can be confused with free will. Libertarianism is a broader political ideology that prioritizes personal and economic freedom. In his book, An Inquiry Concerning Human Understanding, David Hume introduced the idea of soft determinism, which later evolved into compatibilism. Compatibilism is the view that free will and determinism can coexist. Free will is about human agency and autonomy. The debate is important as the theist or religious believe in the concept of divine justice in afterlife. Unless we have free will in this life, we cannot be held accountable for our actions in the afterlife. Furthermore, the concept of morality is also linked to human agency and free will. For humans to be praised or punished for their actions, free will has to exist. Let's have a quick look about what different world religions have to say about free will. Buddhism has a unique perspective on free will called pratitya samutpada, which means dependent organization. According to this phenomenon, all human actions arise from a complex web of previous causes and conditions, quite similar to the concept of causal determinism. Having said that, both major branches of Buddhism, which is the Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism, emphasize the personal responsibility in the pursuit of enlightenment to break the cycle of suffering called samsara. In Islamic theology, the two main schools of thought dealing with the free will are the Qadriya and Jabariya. The Qadriya school emphasizes the importance of free will and the responsibility of individuals whilst making free choices. The Jabariya and divine determinism, on the other hand, take a more deterministic approach, arguing that all human actions are predetermined by God's will. There are further fine distinctions between the Sunni Asharites, Mutazilites, and the Shia theology beyond the scope of this bite size. Christianity, not very dissimilar to the other religions, has diverse views on free will. The Catholic Church, heavily influenced by St. Augustine, believes that humans are bestowed with the gift of free will. However, according to St. Augustine, the existence of evil in the world is not due to God's will but to human beings' misuse of their freedom. The Protestants, on the other hand, especially the Calvinists, believe in salvation to be predetermined by God, leaving little room for free will. Why is it so hard to believe that I don't have free will? Of course I have free will. I can stand up, sit down, sleep, eat, exercise, rest whenever I want. I can choose between two different options. It's hard to believe because free will is our intuition. It comes to us intuitively to decide which path to take when given options. But let me give you the example of Phineas Gage. Phineas Gage was an American railroad construction foreman. On September 13, 1848, while he was working in a railroad, an accidental explosion caused a large iron rod to be driven through his skull, severely damaging his frontal lobes. Remarkably, Gage survived the accident. Before the accident, Gage was an extremely responsible and pleasant individual. However, after the accident, he became irresponsible and socially inappropriate. His family and friends noted that he was no longer Gage. Phineas Gage's case provides evidence that frontal lobe of the brain plays a crucial role in personality, behavior, and decision making. His quote-unquote free will completely changed as soon as the anatomy of his brain was disturbed. There are hundreds of other examples where brain tumors and brain disorders have completely changed the personality of an individual, casting doubts on concept of free will. Famous Benjamin Libet experiment is quoted heavily in this context. Benjamin asked his subjects to raise their finger and measured the EEG activity. It showed that the neural activity occurred hundreds of milliseconds before participants reported conscious free will choice to move their finger. Modern functional MRI scans shows that certain brain regions become active in anticipation of making a decision before the subject consciously, quote unquote, use their free will to make that decision. This shows that our subconscious mind has already decided which option to take before our conscious free will makes this choice. So if we can't prove that free will is spiritual or divine, can we prove it scientifically? Let's have a look at the phenomenon of emergence. Emerging properties are macro properties that arise from interacting micro properties, that is, complexity emerging from simple elements. The water molecule, the H2O, is not wet. However, when billions and billions of water molecules get together, they give rise to the emerging property of wetness. Maybe the 86 billion neurons in the human brain and 100 trillion synapses, when joined together, give rise to the emergent property of consciousness and free will. I will talk about consciousness in my next video, but as far as free will goes, emergence is the mechanism behind free will according to some of his proponents. In his essays on the freedom of will, Arthur Schopenhauer, the 19th century German philosopher, said, "Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he will." Schopenhauer believed that while we have the ability to carry out our desires, we do not have any control of what we desire in the first place, a kind of a deterministic philosophy. If you liked the video today, please put your questions and comments below. Also let me know what are the topics that you like to see me talk about in my next videos. Thank you.